Hey everybody, Brian Tro coming to you from Mossy Creek Fly Fishing with your fly fishing forecast. The date for today is Monday, the 13th of January. So, we've had a lot of cold weather since the New Year's, a real winter, as they say. It's still cold. Today is probably going to be one of the warmest days in January so far, and then maybe going further into January. And it's only about 38, 39 degrees here in Harrisonburg. So, we've got a snowpack on the ground on the valley floor. We got a snowpack, a deeper snowpack in the mountains, and a really good snowpack if you head west into further into the Alleghenies in West Virginia. So all that's going to play into the fishing. So let's kind of get started high up in the mountains, and we'll start there. So a lot of our mountain brook trout streams are snow covered. Not only are they snow covered, but we've got a lot of ice setting up. And so things for folks who live outside the area to know before they head this way. There is some open water, but you can get to your favorite brook trout stream depending on how much sunlight light it gets, whether it's facing more south or more north. It could be ice along the edges, or it could be iced across. There's certainly some open water around. We've been out driving around. We've been fishing some. And some of the mountain creeks are flowing still, and some of them are really, really iced up. So you just need to keep that in mind before you go driving hours, and anticipate that. Also, when getting out this time of year in snow, you really got to consider your footwear. All right. I'm a big believer in felt. Felt is one of the best surfaces for gripping. I have a lot of confidence in it, but one of its drawbacks is walking around in snow. All right. So depending on how far you got to go get from your vehicle to the place that you're going to fish, um, the snow can just stick to that felt, can stick to the bottom of it. It can pile on, especially as we finally get above freezing. This is the first time we've gotten above freezing really in over a week. And that snow will start to stick and pile on. It can be really awkward and hard. If you're not walking far and you're going to be wading in the stream, of course, once you get in the water, it'll melt in the water itself, and it's not a big deal. So rubber with studs is highly recommended, especially out there this time of year. Fishing creeks like Mossy Creek, where you're going to be walking along pretty deep snow still that's starting to warm up a little bit. It can be a real pain in the butt if you roll out there with your felt. So it's just a quick kind of fishing in the snow. Winter tip: if you've got alternate soles, go for that. Use those. All right. Mountain streams, cold. Water temps are going to be like 33 degrees. Ice is forming. Ice is growing. With the exception of today, it's going to get really, really cold again. It looks like this week in the valley floor, several nights of single digits. Looks like, especially Tuesday and Wednesday night, low of 4, low of 3, could be below 0 up in the mountains. So ice is going to be the name of the game. We're going to have a lot of it. You got to make sure that you have something for your guides if you go out fishing, because it's not going to get above freezing for several days. I take my Tenkara rod because I don't have to worry about guides freezing. It's kind of the way to go. You can wear mittens, and you don't have to worry about frozen fingers when you're fishing that way. So that's another nice winter tip. If you have your Tenkara rod, take that over your 1 weight or your 2 weight if you're going to go brook trout fishing when it's this cold outside. They're eating small little nymphs, okay, little Baetis nymphs, Jujubaetis, little tiny zebra midges, pheasant tail size 18 or 20. Make sure they're down deep, or some stonefly patterns, some copper johns or things like that, CK nymphs. Those are going to be what you want to fish in the mountains with, okay? Pick your warmer days, but remember also, I know I tell people this every year, but some of you may not have heard this. Today is warmer. 40 degrees feels like 60 after all this cold air. So it's going to feel nice for you, and it's going to warm up, and your fingers are going to be good, and your guides are going to be frozen. But remember, the warmer it gets when we have snowpack, the more the water temperature drops, especially on these spring creeks that are sitting at like 45 degrees. You're going to have 33-degree snowmelt water flooding the system, and that's going to bring your overall water temperatures down, which is going to lead to even more lethargic fish. So it's kind of crazy, but when the cold air comes in, it locks the snow melt up, temperatures kind of stabilize, and then when we have a warm day, all that 32-degree snow melt runs in, water temperatures drop if there's room for them to drop. All right, so moving downhill, you've got your delayed harvest streams, your state stocked waters. They've been stocking really well all fall, winter. You're going to see a big drop off in stocking once we've got snowpack all over the state. It's just harder for them to get to places. They'll start waiting for this snow to melt off some before they go spot. So you'll see in the stocking schedule, it's not just the holidays, although that was a big deal, but now there's snow on the ground in a lot of these spots. They just simply can't afford to take that truck with all that weight back onto some of these snow-packed, ice-packed four-wheel drive routes. So you're going to see that drop off a little bit. Speaking of that, places that a lot of folks like to go, like North River delayed harvest, be careful. Forest roads are not maintained. They get driven on. They get driven on a lot, and subsequently that packs everything down, turns it into a sheet of ice, and that'll be up there for like a month. Okay, the north facing slopes up there, they don't put salt, they don't plow them, so those roads can get pretty sketchy heading up Elkhorn Lake, down to Switzer Lake. Some of those four-wheel drive forest roads, they don't get plowed. Speaking of lakes, all of our mountain lakes are frozen. Frozen well. There's guys going out ice fishing. Yes, we ice fish in the South once about every 4 years. We don't do it well, but people try. And so the lakes are frozen. The streams are partially frozen up high. Your open water for sure is going to be down in your spring creeks. All right. So streams like Mossy and Spring Run, which are 100% spring fed, they're going to stay free and clear of ice no matter what. All right, we're going to get probably below zero at my house on Mossy Creek this week, and Mossy Creek will steam like crazy in the contrast to temperatures, but it won't get any ice on it. Other streams that are what we call limestoners, places like Beaver Creek and Buffalo Creek and South River, these streams have springs that feed in all over the place, but they still come from the mountains. Those could get some edge ice, but generally they stay pretty ice free. Okay, it's got to get brutally cold for those to start encroaching a little bit. So those are all good bets. Those are places you want to be. Not only are they ice free, but they're going to be like, 40, 42, 43 degree water temps instead of 33. All right. So focus on your spring creeks, Mossy Creek, all your standard nymphs work, jig nymphs, get them down quick, keep them down, small sculpins. On overcast days, if you see fish sipping, they're eating blueing olives. That's the number one dry fly that they'll eat this time of year. The walking and stuff is a little bit tough. I don't know. My backyard, there's probably a good half a foot of snow with some crunch on it. So you got to plan for that if you're going to be walking streams. Not too bad of a go. Larger rivers, we got some pics that we'll post, but there's stretches of the Shenandoah, the North River, the South Fork, the North Fork, where there's large stretches where the water's nice and open still. All right, just a little bit of edge ice. And then there's places where the river is frozen completely across. If I had to guess, I would say most of the rivers can be frozen by come of the weekend because, again, we're going to be just so cold this coming week. So for those of you who've been calling, there's been a lot of people calling about open water, putting rafts on, musky fishing, etc. We're steering clear of most of it, not because we're too chicken to go, but we fish so much that trying to force something that's not really that great, we try not to do. So we'd be hard pressed to send you all to good, reliable open water, especially with how cold it's about to get. So you got to kind of find your own. If you're looking to do it, there is some open water out there, but you may have to drive around a little bit. Rafts don't make good icebreakers, so we'll let you know when things melt off a little bit. So looking a little bit forward to the 3-day weekend coming up this weekend. There's kind of a chance of rain on Saturday, which is surprising with how cold it's been. We'll see if that pans out. The snow being on the ground and melting a little bit every day, such a great way to add back to the water table, try and continue to dig out this drought that we were in last year. We had these great tropical storms and hurricanes as far as rain goes in the fall, much needed back to back to back. and we're kind of trying to build off that. Having a good snowpack for the first time in a while is really helpful. Hopefully we don't get too much rain. Getting a really big rain on top of snowpack leads to pretty quick flooding around here. For those of you who remember, one of the biggest floods ever was 96 flood winter. We had 2 feet of snow and then got a bunch of rain on top, and it was rough going. So anyway, a lot of things to consider when it comes to the weather and fishing this time of year. Not every winter in Virginia is the same. We have lots of winters where it's 50 degrees and you're out there all the time, and then we have winters like this where you've got to really be hardened or pick your battle, or make sure you're picking your window. So anyway, we're here to help you. Find some open water, find some good water. You've always got spring creeks, you've always got Jackson River tailwater, places like that. So they're there. You have them mostly to yourself this time of year because a lot of folks just stay home and tie. Speaking of staying home and tying and other events and stuff, thanks for everybody who came out to the Virginia Fly Fishing Festival this past weekend in Richmond. Awesome show. We had a great time seeing everybody. We loved that show, and it was a lot of fun. We've got a lot of cool events coming up on the fly tying side. We have a date for the Iron Fly, which is fan favorite. That's at Pale Fire Brewery. We're putting this all out in the email, but that's going to be on Monday, February 3rd. So at Pale Fire here at Harrisonburg. Got to come to that. It's crazy. It's fun. It's awesome. We're going to have the dates up. Actually, my brother's got the date up for F3T. F3T showing here in Harrisonburg is going to be in March. So you got Iron Fly in February. You got F3T in March. And then April 5th is going to be our spring open house. Okay. So get through your cabin fever. Got a lot of fun and a lot of events to look forward to coming up, in addition to dry fly fishing only being like a month and a half away. I know it doesn't feel like that, but it is. Month and a half away. We got some of these fun events for you all to join us and have some fun on the way to dry fly season. All right, that's it for today. I will catch you all back next week.